This is where we hold them! This is where we fight!
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.
Rob, what's good, homie?
Mike, Happy New Year.
Is it too late to say Happy New Year? If you go by the Larry David rule from Curb Your Enthusiasm, it's too late. Yesterday was the cutoff.
Yeah, but we haven't been on the air or spoke to each other since the New Year's, so I think
He doesn't care. He doesn't care. He says after the 3rd, you can no longer say Happy New Year. But
See, everyone in the chat saying Happy New Year. So
I'm with it. Keep the Happy New Year's coming. I'm good. I'll run into people a month from now and tell them Happy New Year. Okay.
So are you big into like resolutions? Do you like sit down and like set goals and do all that stuff, or do you like? I don't know why I'm asking, but
No.
You're not nothing. You didn't even like sit down and like be like, yo, like, hey, what am I want to accomplish this year? Like any like personal, professional, family goals, anything like that?
No. I mean, I honestly, I don't even really think about it all that much. I don't know. I tend to enjoy my life where I'm at. I don't know. I'm not like constantly thinking about the changes I need to make and what's going on around me. I mean, obviously, I could get in better shape. That's everybody has that New Year's resolution, right? And I guess maybe laying off on the soda would be a good New Year's resolution for me. I don't talk about this on here, but I quit smoking this year. This past year, I was a long time smoker, and I quit and gave it up. So that was big for me. That was real big for me. But yeah, I honestly I didn't think about it all that much. I don't really look at the new year that way. I just keep it moving. I'm also a very habitual person. I am a person of habits, and yeah, I don't think much about change this or do this differently. But you get me thinking now. One other thing I think we all could think about, or a lot of us could think about in that nature is, and actually I thought about this morning when I got my weekly screen time report. You know how Apple sends you the notification saying, hey, your average time on the screen. And my average time on the screen this past week was the lowest it had been for any week of the year. And the reason for that was because for the better part of this past week, I was among a lot of friends, and I wasn't paying attention to my phone. I was talking and playing games and going outside and doing things. And, so that's one other thing I think about is just less time on my phone, less time on my phone for sure. And I think that's something that a lot of us could do. But I'll be honest, I'm pretty good with that, though. I read a lot. I not only read a lot myself, I read a lot with my kids, and I do spend a lot of time on my phone. And but I don't think it's like I'm not one of those people that's like constantly glued to it. But how about you? Anything you're looking to accomplish in the new year? Anything you want to turn a new leaf over on?
Yeah, I like using the New Year as like to level set with myself for like personal, professional, as well as like bowling, like podcast goals. Like what I want to do with the show, more items that way. Personal, I want to read like more books. I have like 4 books that have been sitting next to my coffee table, and I'm literally, if anybody knows the one classic novel that I'm reading on my own time, Mike, The Count of Monte Cristo. And I've been in the middle of that it's like a 1,000+ page book, and I've been in the middle of it, and I want to finish it.
I was going to say that's some heavy duty reading, bro.
It is. But I also have some other books, like there's some self-help type books, there's some financial books that I want to get involved in. So I'm reading more. Obviously, like staying on my health journey, losing a little bit of weight. Not because like I think me and you are in different situations in that end. When you're a single guy and you live in Scottsdale, you have to stay in really good shape. In my opinion, you either have to be a millionaire or you have to literally have a six pack. So, staying in shape too. There's a bunch of other things I have. For the show though, for bowling, I do want to start bowling again. So that's been on my hit list, and I want to tell a quick story about that with Bolero that I dealt with. I this past Saturday, or not this Saturday, last Saturday, I decided that I want to go bowl practice, like just to get the juices flowing, go bowl 3 games, feel what it's like to bowl again, right? Because I haven't thrown a ball in a while. But I live 15 minutes from the Bolero, and the Bolero's in Scottsdale. It's called the Olinda, and I decided that it was Saturday, like 3:00, Mike. I didn't want to just go there. I wanted to call first to see if there's open lanes, if the lights are on, because you never know where you're getting into a Bolero on a Saturday at 3:00, right? And I'm not even exaggerating this story. I called the bowling center at least 4 to 5 times within an hour. I called them every 15 minutes. Ring, 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 ring. Bro, they wouldn't pick up their phone. I called them. I'm not even kidding. This thing ringed for like literally like a minute. And I did it 4 to 5 different times, and they never picked up the phone. I never went because I am not going to drive over there. So like, I just don't understand.
They were probably too busy to pick up the phone.
Yeah, but I understand, but you're running a business.
So you don't want to go over there anyway, is my point.
Right. Well, I mean, yes, that's too, but the other sense of it's like, dude, like, yo, like, how are you running a business and you're not picking up the phone? Like, at least pick up the phone. Hey, like.
Yeah, but you know what? It reminds me, there's a pizza place in Philly called Vince's Pizza. Shout to Vince's Pizza. It's one of the best pizza places in Philly. Friday afternoon, Rob, they open at 4:00. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't pick up the phone, bro.
Oh, they don't
pick up the phone because they're too busy. Like, it's busy. They leave it off the hook. You got to go there. You got to go and you got to order your pizza. And that's it. If you don't want to do that, then you don't get Vince's Pizza.
No,
so I mean, I kind of understand part of that, but you would think a business like that would have somebody standing by the phone 24/7, right?
Yeah. Well, Nico is talking about B3. The problem with B3 is like, B3 is good if I want to bowl for an hour. Really practice for an hour, right? Spend the $40 or $50 for the hour. When you haven't thrown a ball in 6 months, B3 is not the first place I'm going to go to. I want to bowl 3 games. I want to spend the $15 to $20 for the 3 games, and just feel what it's like to throw the ball again, right? And then eventually I'll make my way to B3 to practice. Competitively, though, I don't feel like this year is going to be a year that I'm going to get back into it. I just want to like start trying to enjoy the sport again. And that's kind of my goal. Just if I might sign up for a fall league, to be honest with you, not a summer league. It might just be some like house like league, just to like try to bowl something. Sport leagues right now, I just don't have it in me to pull my hair out of my head and bang my head against the wall like you do every week.
Oh, your boy's been lighting them up, though. I ain't banging my head against no wall.
Oh, God.
I'm banging pins into the deck, son. That's what I'm banging.
Oh, God. Anyway, yeah, a lot of stuff in the chat.
I want to bring this up. Flanagan giving us heat. I appreciate it, though. He's saying if we can't say Happy New Year, we definitely got to take down the Christmas lights. I agree. You got to change the background, Rob. We got to switch that up for next week.
Yeah, next week.
Christmas lights up there. Nico was asking me, where was it? Oh, I can't find it now. Nico was asking me. Oh, here we go. Was the highlight of my 2025 introducing Bill at the Hall of Fame dinner? Certainly one of. I mean, highlight of a lifetime, really. If I'm being truthful. So yeah, definitely up there. Amongst my highlights of 2025, and I think for me and Rob, that's probably the thing I'll remember most about this year, bowling wise. Is 2025 was the year that Bill went to the Hall. I mean, ask me about it 10 years from now. I'm gonna remember 2025 for that. So definitely up there, no doubt. Yeah,
you didn't obviously no league report. I'm assuming you didn't bowl league.
No, I have a league report. Now the league report is not from last week. It's not from this past Tuesday because we did not bowl this past Tuesday. We had the week off this past Tuesday. This league report is from the Tuesday. Hold on, I got to find it. This league report is from the previous Tuesday. I think it would have been December 22nd or something like that. Would have been the date on that. And why can I not find it now? I just had it. I had it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so Tuesday, December 22nd. December 23rd was the last day that I bowled. We had off last week. We resume next week. I think we have 2 weeks left in the first half. We're in third. We've moved up to third. I don't think we're going to have a chance at first. I think we're too far out. But I'm happy with where we're at. We were in the basement at one point. But my league report last week, the last time we bowled on the long pattern. Okay, it was on the long, and I went 210, 235, 222 for 667.
It's a good set.
Okay, so solid.
Throwing what still at stealth mode?
Yeah, stealth mode the whole
like
time.
That ball. Yeah.
Love that ball. Honest to God, can't say it enough. I said it a couple times already. And I don't want to sound like a patch pirate, but if you don't have that ball and you're looking to drill something, that should be the ball that you drill. Because that ball is just good, benchmark, steady, really versatile ball. No question.
Did you ever drill a Web Tour edition?
Yes.
Is that similar to a Web Tour?
I would say a little more versatile.
Because I love that Web Tour. I had 2 of them, and that ball was one of my favorites.
A little bit more versatile.
Yeah, that Web Tour was one of my favorites.
Mike Flanagan says, if I prepared for this show like I did Bill's speech, STR would be more popular than the Pat McAfee show. All right, I hear you. It took me so long to write that speech, Mike. I mean, you have no idea, bro. I worked on that thing for like a year. There were probably 3 or 4 different versions of it. And I'm serious, even down to the last day, that morning, the morning of the event, I was sitting in the park with the kids. We went to the park and we all hung out in the park and the kids were playing and everything. And I sat in the park on a bench and I was still changing it. I still made major changes to it, even that day. So, yeah, definitely work in progress. But, Mike, if you watch often enough, sometimes I get on my shit over here and I'll go on a well thought out rant that will rival the preparedness of a speech like that. But yeah, you gotta be watching on the regular. You gotta be watching on the regular. I appreciate that, man. He said you delivered that so well. I greatly appreciate it. I do. I was so happy with how that went. I really was. I couldn't have been happier. And I just thought that, and if you listen to the speeches, me and Bill touched on a lot of the same things from the same people.
Flanagan, you probably don't know this, but he probably, every time he now drives to and from work, he puts it on and he listens to it.
I listen to it occasionally. I do. I'm not going to lie. I listen to it occasionally.
He sits in the mirror and he watches it.
No. I just bring it up every once in a while, you know. Yeah. I listen to Bill's too. I
can't listen to Bill's because I start tearing up listening to Bill's.
Oh God! Oh, tell me about it. I mean, but it's so good. It's so good. Like that's why I go back to it.
It's a tear jerker. If it's a tear jerker, it is. I remember being there, and I was on the verge. I was literally like looking away, like hopefully nobody, like, you don't want to become like the Jordan crying meme where like someone zooms in on you and you're just like. But yeah, that was a great experience, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you think 2025, you know, that's what I'm taking away from it.
Yeah. All right. Let's let's get right into it about 2025, because there's a lot of storylines I want to talk about, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not following here, folks, we're kind of wrapping up the year here. You know, we know the new year is already passed. It's 2026. We didn't have an episode last week, so you know, we just wanted to take the opportunity to kind of wrap things up from last year. You know, and then going forward, Rob, it's all about 2026 after this week, after this episode, right? And we're going to be focused on the new PBA schedule coming up, right? And they're getting started in February, and we're all looking forward to that. Obviously, as fans of the game, we're all looking forward to that. And but we wanted to take tonight to kind of touch back on 2025, talk about some of the big stories, talk about some of the things that left their impression on us in this year. We'd love to hear from the chat too. What are the stories? What are the moments? What are the wins? What are the matches, etc., that you're going to remember from 2025? We'd love to hear from you guys too. And if you're listening to this and you're not live, feel free to email us. We've been getting a lot of emails lately, and we love the emails. Keep the emails coming. Where do you want to start, Rob?
I think the first thing you think about this year, like bowling storyline, because there's outside storylines too, like we'll talk about. Actual bowling, I think the Ethan Fiore, EJ Tackett roll off, we brought it up, we talked about it before the show. To me and to you, I think, was almost the highlight of the PBA, like telecast, like actual bowling part of it.
Well, that was the best match of the year.
Match of the year, we're calling it.
No question. If we're match of the year,
match of the history of the PBA,
maybe one of the best matches in PBA history. I would agree with that. Sick roll off in that match, right? I feel like you're focusing in there, right? If we're talking about one match, if we're talking bigger storylines, if we're talking overall, right? When we're talking big picture, EJ Tackett winning Player of the Year again.
Just complete domination.
Yeah, putting himself really in a different category, right? Putting himself in a different category. Names like Roth, Williams, Belmonte, Anthony. These are the kinds of names that EJ Tackett is putting himself amongst with these multiple back-to-back player of the year wins.
He won the U.S. Open, the Pete Weber Missouri Classic, the Shark Championship, and the World Championship. He won 4 titles this year, Mike. 2 majors.
No, I mean, domination. Like you said, domination. In terms of money, it was complete domination. He was the leading money winner by a long shot, right? So yeah, I definitely think that if you're talking up close, best match of the year, you're talking EJ Tackett. If you're talking big picture, you're talking EJ Tackett. So one way or another, 2025, you're talking EJ Tackett if you're talking PBA Tour. It was that kind of year. I mean, it was a very dominant year.
It was. And then to me, also coming out of that match, yes, EJ Tackett doing EJ Tackett things. Ethan Fiore to me was like, that was the breakout year for him. He also won the Players Championship too, right? So he had a breakout year. He won a major.
Came out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Came people
around,
nowhere,
yeah.
Right?
There wasn't surprise of people in his camp, right? Or people who bowled around him. And
no. But I'm saying not a name you had heard coming up
right
through the ranks, right? This is a young kid who came out and lit it up, put his flag in the ground and said, I'm here and I'm somebody who's to be considered a great player. Yep. You talk about 2026, those are 2 things I want to look for going into next year, right? Like, what kind of year is Ethan Fiore going to have this year? Does he continue with that? Does he build on that? Is Tackett gonna lock down Player of the Year again? I mean, he's in his prime right now. He is in his absolute prime right now. And I got to bring this comment up from Lou. Lou, what's up? Happy New Year, bro.
I love his logo.
he said, he suffers.
I know. Me and him are suffering. Thanks. I appreciate that logo, Lou. It's a good laugh.
He says Tackett doing what he does in the two-handed era is the most impressive performance I've seen watching the PBA for 45 years. Yeah. Not only is he dominating this way, but he's dominating this way in the quote unquote two-handed era, right? So not only is that the story for this year, to me, it's the story going into next year too.
But there's also another aspect of it. Not only, Lou, is he dominating in the two-handed era, but he's also dominating in a urethane-dominated era with Motive doesn't
point.
really specifically doesn't even have it really a full urethane type ball. So he's beating the urethanes without urethane essentially, and he's beating the two-handers as a one-hander.
Wild.
Crazy.
Wow. So, all right, go ahead, Rob. We'll get off of the EJ Tackett glazing train here.
Yeah, I know.
But where else you want to go?
I feel like Chris Collinsworth talking about Patrick Mahomes. I have to bring up the Gary Haynes show with the Masters. I think is the storyline.
Oh my goodness.
I mean,
can we do a regular people watch bowling with the Gary Haynes match? That would be great. Regular people watch bowling.
That's a great idea.
You know, I mean, that is that.
So
man, that was incredible.
It was. I have so many emotions watching that show. That he essentially was dead. He was dead in the water. Like he was. I mean, you didn't know where the ball was going off this kid's hands.
He was having an out-of-body experience. That's how bad it was. Okay.
And here, I feel for Simonson. Knows this kid is. I feel like he was like Simonson was a boxer, or a UFC fighter who had his opponent. He knew he was hurt. He knew his legs weren't under him, and just couldn't land that one shot that would put him out. Right, and he just kept him hanging around. And then Dino comes in with the whole, kiss your wife.
He's the corner man, right? He's the corner man.
And then just magically, like the Undertaker, like laying down, just rises up from oblivion, throws a couple of good shots, and ends up winning a Masters.
No, well, the first shot after the conversation was the crossover.
Right.
Okay, it was the runaway cross. So it was on. Yeah. If you're making the fight comparison, it's almost like he comes out of the corner after the talk with his corner man, and he stumbles and almost falls down, but punches his opponent on the way down and happens to land a knockdown. Yep. I mean, it's like it was crazy. It was crazy. It
was a crazy match.
It was a crazy match, man. It was a crazy show. It was a crazy unfolding series of events in that match. Yeah. Man, that was a crazy one, but not in a. And I don't mean any disrespect by saying this either, but like not in a classic way. Not in a way of like, oh, that's amongst the best matches I've ever seen. It was more entertaining in an odd way.
Right.
It was like, yeah, like I can't look away from what's happening here. I remember that I missed that telecast because of a soccer game.
I was texting you.
And you were texting me and you were like, bro, you got to get home and watch this like right now. Like you got to make sure. And I'm like, all right, like, man, like what? I was thinking to myself, like, what happened? What could have happened that he's this hype about it? And I'm watching the match. I'm like, man, what's going to happen here? Like, this isn't. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh my goodness, look at this. This is unbelievable what's unfolding here.
Tarzan.
Shout to Gary Haynes, man.
Yeah. Tarzan the Great, what's up, man? Writes the PBA released uncensored final match on YouTube. Go ahead, Mike, read that.
Go ahead. Take your time. Tarzan in the chat says the PBA released the uncensored final match on YouTube. You can listen to the 20 F-bombs by Simo when he 4-counted. That adds a little bit extra to the viewing experience. Yeah, no, I would 100% agree with that, and I totally understand his emotions in that moment, right? And just like Rob said, knowing that you have your opponent kind of right where you want them, but you can't put them out,
Yeah. So one of the other storylines was the international flavor, we should call it, right? Not only were there a few first-time champions, especially the World Series, but the PWBA also continues to get pretty dominated by the international players. Santu, right, got his first title. Tun Amril Al-Hakim, Rasmus Edval, and Wei Sang Darren Ung all won titles this year, Mike.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah,
just
I mean
shows you.
that's what the World Series is about, right? I think that has somewhat become a trademark of the World Series, right? Where you have a fair number of international players coming out to that event. And listen, these guys can play, man. These guys can play, and a lot of them experience success. Now, I'll say that we've never seen winning at this rate like we did this year with the World Series of Bowling from the international players, but it's definitely a place where you have seen international players come and get their first taste of success and go from there.
I think it just shows you though that if the PBA gave more opportunity for international players to bowl all year, that it would be, I think there would be a lot of international players winning consistently. I mean, look at Jesper, right? Jesper won a title this year. Graham Fa, right, is international. He's Canadian, I believe.
Yep.
So, like, shouts to them too. I mean, we didn't bring them up because they've won titles before, but it just shows that if there is opportunity for the international players to bowl all year, that I think that we would see a lot more players winning. I think there's a lot of talent overseas that we just don't see. Robert, what's up, man? The international players from Seattle have government backing or SCA. I'm not sure if that's Seattle or if that's something different, Mike. I don't want to assume it's Seattle, like Seattle. Government backing in their sport programs. Malaysia and Singapore are the big two. Oh, so SCA, I would imagine. Seattle, sorry, I sound like an idiot. Are the big two. Crazy. Robert went overseas this past year too, right? Southeast Asia, SEA. Okay, so I sound like an idiot. But yeah, you went overseas this past year, right? So I'm sure you got to get a chance to see and meet a lot of these players that have a lot of talent that we don't get to see on a daily basis. All right, Mike, let's I know everyone's correcting me now in the chat. I feel like it's like a pile on Rob, like because I make a dumb mistake and I'm live and I can't go and edit it out.
Sorry, I was checking something on my phone. Otherwise, I would have known it was Southeast Asia. My
Yeah,
bad.
I'm sure you would have. I literally read it in Seattle because that's what the first comes to my mind. SCA.
Oh, Jesus
Christ! I should put that as a reel up there and let everyone pile on me on that too. Okay, so let's talk. Is there any other bowling? I think Flanagan also had a good storyline that we didn't talk about prior. Is that Ryan Barnes is going to live up to what we thought he would be? And seeing how far he's come in such a short time, I think we're going to see him really, really do well on tour and come into his too.
Yeah, I would definitely put that up there as one of the notable things to come out of this past year. I go back to what I said before though, and this was a while ago when we talked about this, but there's been a lot of great, very talented young players who have experienced various levels of success over the last few years. Okay. You want me to name a few? I'll name a few. You could put Barnes there. You could put Ethan Fury there. You could put Cam Crow there. You could put
Dio Bernard,
Eric Jones. Who's the other lefty that made the show in? I think he made the show in Delaware. God, I feel bad that his name is escaping me right now. He bowled the whole tour season too. He made it through tour trials. Nate. Stuber, right? Yeah, Stuber. So I could give more names. Okay, I'm going to stop there. I just went like a couple years back. Trevor Roberts, another guy I would put in that category. Again, I'll stop with the names. Okay, I'm sorry if anybody feels offended that I'm leaving them out. I'm not doing it purposefully.
And I think there's some horizon people on the horizon, guys like Cam Crow.
Yeah, no, but here's my point though, Rob. They're having like breakthrough success, but we haven't seen any really great examples of those younger guys who have been able to turn that breakthrough success into certified threat all the time.
Takes years. Look at EJ.
Does it though?
I think it does.
I don't know. I'm not sure I agree with that.
It takes years of these guys being on tour. I mean, it's just experience. And dude, you're still bowling against Belmonte and Tackett and I mean guys who are been on tour for years that Bill, right? You're still bowling against guys that have so much more experience and years on you. And it's not like where these young kids physically like are coming in and are just physically superior than the people that are already successful on tour, because I kind of feel like you can't you can't be more powerful than a EJ right now, right? Like it's just they have to try to beat EJ, Belmonte, Bill, and it's not easy. These guys take years to get into their own and get comfortable. Bowling on TV is also a whole nother planet. How many guys we see struggle on TV for the first 3 to 5 years of their career when they're making shows? EJ struggled, right?
That's what I'm saying though. He was making a lot of shows. He was making a lot. He was a threat all the time. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying. Like I don't, over the last few years, I don't think there's any young player you can point to say, oh yeah, that guy went from being an unknown to somebody who's a threat to make the show every week. Right now, Fiore, that's an interesting one. That's an interesting one because he's got I think he has a real opportunity to put his flag deeper in the ground this upcoming season, right? But again, like, what's going to happen there? Is that going to be how things proceed, or is he going to have the kind of year where maybe he makes a show or two, doesn't win a title, and we don't hear much from him?
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure. Robert Smith is like, it took me his 7th show to win. It's a whole different planet. Flanagan said,
but honestly, and again, with all due respect to the current players, Robert, when you went out on tour, it was a completely different animal than it is now. The number of deeply experienced winning players when you went on tour was way higher than it is today. I appreciate what Rob's saying about, hey, you still have to go up against the Belmos and the O'Neills, et cetera, et cetera. I get that. But my point to Robert Smith would be he had to go up against a much longer list of those guys than the younger players today do. Do you think that's fair to say, Rob? I mean, when Robert Smith started on tour, I would think there were a dozen and a half guys who were at that level. Whereas now it's a smaller group. It's a much smaller group of the premier players that you have to go through and beat to reach that kind of level.
I just the way the tour is set up, I think it was better for more people, right? When Robert was on tour, I mean, it wasn't I don't think Robert was on way before the exempt and all that. It was like anybody can go and bowl.
No doubt.
So you'd have to compete with not only all those guys you're talking about that were consistently a threat.
Yeah, and keep going.
Yeah,
he said in the chat, Norm, Walter Ray, Brian Voss, PDW Cat. Robert, you only named like that might have been the top 5 at the time. What about your Patrick Allens, your younger up and comers at that time too, who you had to compete against? Then you had a whole nother sect of guys who were older than the Norms and the Walter Rays and the Brian Vosses, but still good. And then you had other guys who were title winners and regular showmakers who were in that category as well. So I don't, again, all due respect to the young guys today, I'm not taking anything away from them. I want to be clear about that. But I don't think that's a fair comparison, Robert. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I want to bring up Mike's comment here, right? Because it kind of goes along with what I was just saying before. He's saying Chris Vi, breakout, Kyle Troop, rebound, Ryan Barnes becomes weekly factor, Kroll, McCune, who finishes better this year? Chris Vi, Bo Kroll, McCune. Those are 3 other guys you could add to the list of names of what I was saying. right? Chris Vi was right there. He's right on the prep. Where's he been? Where's he been? Kevin McCune wins his first major. You think he's going to have a chance to break out? Look at his game. I mean, who wouldn't want to throw like him? Where's he at? Bill Crow wins a title, has a great year, right? Is in the mix the whole season. Where's he at? Right? Where are these? When are we going to see somebody really break through? That's that. Which of these guys, who out of this group, what few players out of this group are gonna break through? Right.
Yeah, it's a fair point. And then we're talking also, he brought up guys like Chris Prather and AJ Johnson. Chris Prather did have a memorable moment of 2025, though, Mike. It was not a moment I don't think he wanted to be known for. If anybody doesn't remember the hitting the ball rack and then going down the lane and getting his own ball and then throwing it, that was definitely a good moment of 2025. All right, Mike. Let's talk outside bowling. Let's talk some of the storylines outside of bowling.
Outside of the tour, anyway. Outside
of the tour. I think the first thing that comes to mind is, Mike, the urethane drama isn't going away. We thought we were above it. We thought the creation of the 78 hardness and that whole aspect of it would finally put an end to all the urethane debauchery that we've talked about for years.
All the experts were saying, oh, no, the harder urethane is going to put an end to it. No, you were wrong.
Like the Kembe.
You were wrong. Okay, it's as big an issue as ever.
And I feel like it's still, like, we could still see more changes down the road. I still feel like.
Yeah, I mean,
I still feel like
changes a couple months ago.
I still feel like they haven't, and they meaning the USBC. I feel like the PBA is kind of set on what they're doing, right? You can use only 78 on all the tours, and then if it's USBC sanctioned now tournament, like the Masters of the US Open, you can't throw anything. Purple hammers, they banned, pitch by. It's you can't throw any urethane, right, on the US. So it's all over the place right now. If you're new to the sport and you're trying to understand the urethane rules on tour, and you sit down on a computer and try to figure that out, I can't imagine how confusing and how many questions you must have on these rules across like the tour like schedule.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of the different rules and this, that, and the other.
What about the soaking too? Didn't that happen early in the year where the
I feel like isn't there a connection between that incident and the USBC's decision to make some of these rule changes?
Correct.
Right. I mean, they referenced that specifically.
Right.
In their thinking behind making some of these rule changes. And I get that. I understand that. You can't have people cheating. You can't have people chemically soaking bowling balls and all that. I totally understand where they're coming from. But I've said it before. I'm going to say it again. I just think that it's ridiculous that with all the advancements of technology that we've had in bowling balls over the last 3 decades, okay, that we're this bent out of shape over a piece of equipment that has less technology. That's all.
Yeah, I want to pull up this comment. Michael writes, the new 2.0 hammer will be the next purple hammer debacle. Michael, don't buy the hype. Don't buy the hype. The purple hammer is like, it's a unicorn. Okay, it's a unicorn in the industry. They'll try to tell you that it's going to be the next best, greatest ball coming out, but you won't hear about it in a few months. It'll be a non-story.
I mean, listen, it's an easy way to sell a ball to say, hey, this is just like the purple hammer, maybe even better.
Yeah, I don't know why the hammer never decided to release like a purple hammer 78. or something. Like I would have released another Purple Hammer personally, and really put the screws in everybody. But I don't know. I'm not on the marketing team at Hammers. So all right. I don't want to talk a whole lot about urethane anymore. I'm so sick of freaking urethane in general.
Ridiculous.
I think of one other really big storyline is the CW deal. Right? We talked how many months, Mike, last year about. I mean, we were setting odds if the PBA was even going to be back next year in 2026.
This is true.
And CW came in and signed a great deal for the PBA, and it definitely keeps bowling on TV, live bowling on TV, same day, around the same time, right? CBS comes in with a pretty good deal.
10 straight weeks.
And I'll give props to the PBA for putting together what looks like right now, looking at pretty much the full schedule or most of the full schedule, a pretty good tour for 2026 when we didn't even know that there would be a tour. It's at some point in 2025.
All right, you paint the rosy picture. Can I do the other side?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you're negative. You're a negative guy. I mean, we whine and complain here, and all kinds of negative.
Who am I? I'm the enemy of fun around here. So please let me do what I do. Thank you. You're painting a rosy picture of the CW and they got a TV deal and it's 10 weeks and it's almost the same time. And
it's good.
Okay. Yeah. I hear you. But let's not forget that they lost the Fox deal. Okay. And that was a good place to be. It was a good platform. There were a lot of good things going on over there. Okay. And I'm going to speak more about this later, give you a little teaser. I'm going to speak more about this later, but they lost this deal due to poor negotiating. Okay. From what I've been told since, Fox wanted the PBA. But because of the stubbornness of the people representing Bolero, and I'll talk a little bit more about this later, the deal went down. The deal went out the window.
Yeah, right? It's a fair point. It's a fair point. I mean, I'm looking ahead, I guess, in a sense, right? Where
you are. You're the guy who just broke up with somebody 6 months ago, and now you have this new person, and you're not so sure how it's going to go, but you're really optimistic about it, right? I'm the person who broke up with somebody 6 months ago, and I can't even find somebody new because I'm still obsessed with what went wrong with the person I broke up with 6 months ago. Okay. Dave Buildingmeyer in the chat is saying Fox wanted people to pay to watch it on TV. I don't know where you're getting that from, Dave. I don't know where you're.
No one's paying to watch. People barely signing up for Bowl TV.
I disagree with that 100%. And the reason I think that I think negatively about it, Rob, is, and I'm gonna throw this question out there to you. And we may have already just talked about this, but we're talking wrapping 2025, talking about going into 2026. Is this it? Is this the PBA's last shot? This is it. This is their last shot, bro. This is their last shot. Yes, it is. If they don't make this a success,
you're asking me, right?
Now I'm telling you. Now I'm not even asking anymore. I'm telling you. Okay, this is the last shot. If they don't make this a success, if they don't build something here with CW, if they don't find a way to figure out how to create exposure, okay, how to draw interest, how to draw people watching bowling, how to draw sponsorships, we're doomed. We're doomed, and the end is nigh, as they say. Okay, so enough of your rosy glasses nonsense. I wanted to curse there. I'm not going to. Enough of your rosy glasses nonsense. All right. I'm just giving you the other side.
I do agree that they do need to find something with this deal. With this TV. I do agree with that. And we've talked about this numerous times about how bowling's got to try to do some different things, right? I don't think it's the end. I think that bowling still has a good enough following and a good enough ratings on some of their shows that there would be some other platform that would pick it up, right? Like I do believe that. Some platform maybe that we might not know. It might not be some kind of like prime time
Yeah, we'll be on
big network.
Tubi.
What?
Be a PBA on Tubi.
I mean, if that's what it takes to get on TV, then maybe. But look, like they do have to put a little bit of interest in the sport this year. It has to be something a little bit new and different and exciting.
It's not going to be. It's going to be the same old.
Well, I'm trying to be optimistic here. I'm trying to maybe some fresh new commentators, maybe some new coverage, follow some better storylines or a little bit more behind the scenes type.
Increase focus on gambling.
Something, right?
Different TV format. Do something, please.
Something.
All right.
I want.
All right. Let's move on.
Okay. I think one of the other storylines that I pulled from this year was, I know a few other people made the USBC Hall of Fame, but Randy Peterson specifically got inducted to USBC Hall of Fame. I kind of feel like that was what?
Finally,
right? I mean, that's to me like something that needs to be just mentioned because I feel like he's deserved it and should have been in years ago, and they finally did him right. Yeah, other than that, that's really the story, the storylines that I pulled out. If we still have worst of the year, and I feel like we're going to talk about some more storylines, right? That we're going to talk about from 2025 in that segment. Is there anything else, Mike, that I missed that you wanted to go through, or do you want to go right to worst of the year?
No, not really. I mean, I'd like to hear. I'd like to give the people in the chat a minute, to kind of throw out ideas out there for maybe some things that we didn't touch on that they felt were important stories of the year, standout stories of the year. What stuck with them for 2025 in bowling, and it doesn't have to be pro PBA related either. I feel like even if you have something that stuck out to you, in terms of bowling in general, right? I would really like to hear from the chat. I guess personally, Rob, for me, and this, I hate to be the enemy of fun. I love being the enemy of fun, actually, but I hate to be negative. I just think 2025 was a year where I realized that competitive bowling is in trouble.
Big Mike's well, Big Mike got an actual mic this year, last year.
Yeah, I've upgraded. Please, I lost the headphones this year.
He lost the headphones last year, so that was a big upgrade. Competitive bowling's in trouble. Because you talked about the whole Bolero and like dealing with coaching and all that.
Just that whole situation, and my experiences with the sport league, and the fact that like so few people want to bowl it. And it's hard, man. It's really hard.
It depends on you what area you are. I do feel like that. I do feel like based on where you are and where you have tournaments. So maybe like locally, but I feel like Greg Tack keeps competitive bowling alive in your area now with all the sport bowling tournaments that he runs, and you could find scratch sport tournaments in your area, right? So I feel like it just depends based on your area. Like my area is a good area because I have, the complete bowling events with Theo, and we have the Agent Ong stuff going on. And, there's always, you could find at least a tournament once a month, and the sport league once a week in my area. So I feel like really where you base out of, but as in general, as a whole, I think we're finally getting to see like where Bolero really their bread and butter is pretty much what I think. Like we've known about it. It's no surprise that their bread and butter has always been the league open play, and that's where they're going to make all their money. And their league bowlers, it feels like sometimes come second to that. But I could be wrong. I also really feel like too, it's based in your area. I think some Boleros are run a lot better than other Boleros. I do think
there's definitely differences from one to the other. When I talk about that, I don't talk about it just as a Bolero problem. It's a bowling problem. It's not just a Bolero problem. It's a bowling problem too. I mean, you really have a lot of people out there who don't want to challenge themselves. And that's a problem. Like, this sport is supposed to be challenging. It's supposed to be something that you have to work at to get really good at,
I
right?
swear to God, I feel like every week,
What's up?
you're talking about the same thing, man.
I
Every
hear you,
week.
but listen, we're wrapping up the year, and I'm sorry, but this is one of my big takeaways from the year. Like, there's really not a lot of people out there who want to challenge themselves, right? And
Yeah.
if that doesn't change, we're in big trouble.
Well, guess what? We're in big trouble. Flanagan, R.I.P. Kenny Seymour. It's a great call, Mike.
Yeah.
4-part documentary was filmed and will release within the next 60 days.
Yeah, we actually didn't have that on our list. That is a good one.
Yeah. I mean, I knew it was going to be filmed, but I feel like that would be part of the story next year.
Like, can you say? I'm sure you know, but can you say through which outlet it's going to be released?
Let's PWBA event during Junior Gold with massive audience. That was a good storyline. And New Hue Fuen wins PWBA Player of the Year, with the internationals still kind of dominating, I think, the PWBA in a sense. We'll get to that.
Kevin knows where we're going, son. Hold on, don't leave yet.
Slow down. We got some still good storylines. Anyway, let's anything else you guys in the chat want to talk about? But I think we nailed a lot of it. And it was a good year for stories. I think the previous year was better. I think previous year there was always something crazy going on. But Mike says that he should be announced soon. It's a bigger network, though, not included with cable provider. That's all he can say. Louis wants us to talk about the drop of Columbia 300, which we didn't really talk about because, I mean, I feel like Brunswick carrying 7 brands and actually having to pay PBA for major dough. Right. Kind of, if you didn't think that they were eventually going to start dropping brands, I don't think that's the last of them too. That's just speculation. That's not me not knowing really anything, but I can't imagine them continuing to like have a few. I feel like they should minimize the brands.
Charlie Tapp in the chat. What's up, Charlie? He brings up a good one, Rob. I know you love this. I know you love this topic. Rob's going to be chopping this up for the AI clips this week. The emergence of string pins.
Yeah, I think the one thing that I learned this year that I didn't realize is how many people are against it. The majority is against string pins. I mean, it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what your arguments are. We could have Mike Fagan on talking about his experience with string pins, which we did. Go listen to the interview. We could have experts come in and talk about like string pins that we could bring on, right? That are really intimate with that subject. And it doesn't matter. You're not changing people's minds on the string pins. It's a carnival game. It's going to ruin the sport. They will not bowl on it. They will quit or they will move bowling centers. And that's the end of it. It doesn't matter how many legit and educated arguments you make for it. There's another storyline.
I know. He popped up, and I was like, oh, my God, how'd we forget that? We got to interview the GOAT of action, son. Rudy Revs, bucket list.
I feel like, Rudy, we need to have one interview a year with you. So
you know what I want? I want Rudy for a live watch for a major this year.
How about?
I want him to come on for a game or two.
How about
a live watch with us?
I got one up for you. How about we watch Rudy on that PBA 50 show bowling for a major?
Okay, yeah, right. That would be nice.
Rudy, we want to see you bowling, not sitting here watching us watch a
Hockey ball
major.
with us. We want to see
We want to
bowl.
watch you on that PBA 50 show, like the old Revs. Like we watched that show with you, Bull Barnes. Would be awesome.
PBA 50 World Series is running the same time as the regular World Series, and they are going to have some shows. Let's go, Hoss.
It is. Anyway, all right, Mike, you ready to get to worst of the year? Because I feel like that's going to be a little bit longer than normal.
Yeah, Dave in the chat. We can't get into this now, but he brings up a really interesting point. Youth bowlers don't bowl leagues anymore. I work and bowl at the largest center in the Midwest. And I'm telling you, the youth isn't there anymore. Yeah, no, I agree, Dave. I mean, I think that's the
Why though, Dave? I want to hear your reasons of why you think that is, because I have my own reasons.
Yeah, I feel like
the internet is a big one.
And we're going quick here, right? I feel like we could do a whole 40-minute discussion on this if we wanted to. And actually, you know what, Rob? Can I use this right now as a platform to do my thing that I think would improve bowling? We forgot about that this week. We went positive for 1 week, and then we forgot about it. We
had a whole thing with negative. Yeah, go ahead though. Yeah, no, we should do it.
Okay, so Dave brings this up in the chat, right? And I see this too. And obviously, a lot of us remember bowling Saturday morning youth leagues and double shifts and things of that nature. And you're right, Dave. It's not really out there anymore. There are a lot of places don't even have youth leagues anymore. As to why the answer is, I agree with Rob. It's a complicated conversation. I think there's a lot of factors there. Off the top of my head, I would say just a lack of promotion, right? Just a lack of promotion of the sport at those younger levels. But with that in mind, I'm going to give this idea of how we can improve bowling, Rob. Okay. Two things have to happen. All right. Number one, and even for my boy Jim, I'm going to tie this into youth soccer too, just for you. Okay. Why are other youth sports so popular, Rob? Why is youth soccer so popular? Why is girls soccer so popular? Boys soccer so popular? Basketball, baseball, football. Do people in the chat, do the bowlers here understand why these sports are so popular and why there's so many parents out there spending so much time and money and resources putting their kids in these sports and pursuing these sports? Anybody?
I take one guess.
Go ahead.
Scholarships.
That's it. It's scholarships. It's what it is. I mean, every sport parent that I know, that's the goal they have in their head, right? Is that my kid is going to be good enough to go D1 and earn a scholarship, right? Go play sports at the highest level in college and get a scholarship. And now it's become even crazier. And I don't know about this. I'm not saying I have any experience with this whatsoever, but it's become even crazier because of NIL, right? And because of name, image, and likeness, and the fact that these kids can now make money, right, off of the way that they play, right, and being great athletes. Okay, so I think about this when it comes to bowling, right, and I think that if the bowling community as a whole could do these two things, not only would it help the bowling community grow as a whole, but Dave, I think it would help with the exact thing you're bringing up in terms of there being no youth leagues, okay, or lack of youth participation in bowling on a regular basis, right? And here's what I would say: the two things that have to happen. Okay, number one, we got to get men's college bowling to a point where they can get scholarships. Okay. To me, that would be big. That would be big. Okay. I'm working with a couple players right now. Boys, it's tough for me to tell their parents, oh, yeah, you're investing in these bowling balls and these lessons and this, that. Oh, and guess what? Your kid can't get a scholarship. And if they do, they better be one of the best players in the country, and they're probably just going to get in-state tuition as opposed to out-of-state.
You have to earn scholarship outside of the kind of how what we did.
Okay, so and Rob, let's be honest. With the expense of college today, you could be Rory Kalankwin, and you ain't gonna really put a dent in what you need for school,
especially
right?
if you go out of state.
Okay. So the first thing to me that would be really beneficial to bowling, and I'm gonna put this all together in a full package, would be if men's bowling goes NCAA and boys can now get scholarships to schools. Okay. We already have the girls' side on the NCAA, and you have a good amount of girls getting scholarship money for college, right? For bowling. Well, we need to get that for the guys, and then we need to promote the shit out of that. We as a bowling community need to promote the shit out of that. Like, we need to be going to grade schools and putting information out there in front of the parents saying, hey, not only can you win scholarship money as you go along, but you can also earn a college scholarship through bowling. That in turn, to me, would get more parents to turn around and say, oh, you know what? Let me enroll them in a year of bowling, a half a year of bowling. Let me see if they like it. Let me see if they're passionate about it. And now you might have a basis to try and grow those youth leagues, right? You might have the numbers where you can put something together and grow off of that. But yeah, if we don't have the promotion of the scholarships on the girls' side, and we don't have the boys available to get scholarships, then I'm going to be honest, like I don't see any real path back to youth bowling growing. Like, the reason there's so many kids at these soccer clinics I go to, and so many kids that play youth soccer at these various levels, is because they're all vying for a scholarship. They're all trying to get money to school. Well, can't we use that in bowling? I'll be honest, Rob, and this might sound crazy. People might even rail on me for this. I don't care. I'm going to put it out there. I said to a friend recently who's done some coaching. He does personal coaching, and as you guys know, I've dabbled into the personal coaching over the last couple months. I had a few young people hit me up that wanted to take lessons, and I jumped back into that. It shocks me that it's the boys who are coming for the lessons and not the girls. If more girl parents knew that their daughter could earn a scholarship through bowling, I would think that they'd be knocking down the door to go get lessons and go try and improve and go try and put some work into it and get better at it, right? And I came up with an idea a couple months ago where and I was just having a conversation with another person who coached on the side, and I told him, like, I actually, I would like to get in front of a group of, let's say, 100 parents. Okay, 100 parents of young female bowlers. Okay, 100 parents, and I would tell those 100 parents, all right, listen, your daughters can, if they get good enough, can earn a scholarship to college for bowling. Okay. But they have to start at a younger age. They're going to have to start by 6th or 7th grade, probably. And they have to stick with it. And there's certain things you have to do equipment wise and competitions you're going to have to enter and things of this nature. Yeah, Jimmy knows exactly where I'm going. You know exactly where I'm going with this, Hoss. Okay. And I would tell that group of 100 parents, listen, you can come and work with me. Right? We'll have workouts weekly. This is what we'll do. I'll have a whole plan for how we're going to work and the work we're going to put in, the events you're going to bowl, and the path we're going to take to get there. Right? You pay me along the way, okay? Because I gotta get paid for my time along the way, okay? And if your daughter earns a scholarship to college, if she earns a full 4-year scholarship to college, I get $10,000 from the parents at the end of that. Okay. And I think, like, that is a viable business model for coaches, for bowling coaches out there, to sit down with parents and say that to them. And at first, the guy that I was talking to thought I was a little crazy. So he's like, well, what parent is going to write you a check for $10,000? And I said, yeah, a parent who just got a $250,000 education for free. That's who's going to do it. Because they're going to be so thrilled that that's the way it turned out. They'll be happy to write that 10 grand check. They'll be happy to write it. And it's like a payoff for the coach and a payoff for the player and parent at the end of it. And I think that's part of what bowling is missing is that payout. The information isn't out there that it's available. And on the boys' side, you don't really have it too much. And I think that would go a long way to helping bowling. Chris Barnes in the chat Dr. Barnes in the chat. Happy New Year, Dr. Barnes. He says smart money is the NCAA of boys bowling, and I hear you. I totally hear you on that. But Chris, come on. Who out there is earning enough smart money to even put a dent in the cost of college education? You could win junior gold all 4 years of high school. You still ain't paying for 1 year of school, bro. You're not even covering 1 year of school, and you could win junior gold 4 times. Now I hear you if you're talking about younger people who are going and bowling professional tournaments, people who are bowling high level stuff where they're winning serious money and putting it in smart accounts. Okay, I could see that. Braden McDonough. Okay, all right, yeah, it's decent.
So here's the question I would ask though. I would ask is, out of all the females that earn full scholarships for their colleges, how many compared to the men's side that were able to pay their full education on smart money?
Yeah, fair point. Fair point.
So that would be my question, and I guarantee you, it's a lot of women were able to pay full scholarships or get full scholarships compared to a handful of junior bowlers that were able to pay a full 4 years of smart money. So yeah, it's a good way. Mike, good rant there. How would I grow the sport? I think the sport needs to become, God, I can't believe I'm going to go down this road right now. Bowling needs to try to become a cooler. It needs to become a cooler sport to the younger generation. Bowling right now isn't. It's almost like a laughing stock of a sport in a certain way. At least I know from when I was younger, and I would tell people that I was a bowler that weren't bowlers, and I was in middle school or high school. You tend to like.
I used to have to fight people when I told them I was a bowler, son. That's how it went down in Philly. They make fun of you. I have to punch them in the face.
I till this day, when I'm out with a female and I bring up that I bowl or have a bowling podcast, it could be hit or miss depending on if the girl is cool or not, or goes back to her friends and laughs at me. And it's always a little bit of a sensitive subject of me bringing it up. I've learned to own it in my own mature age, but I feel like if you want to appeal to the younger generation, bowling needs to figure out a way to become cooler, right? Like, and I feel like that's gonna have to do a lot of the marketing and advertising, or I should say lack of advertising, that gets put out on to the mainstream public for bowling. It would be nice to see a PBA commercial on a non-bowling television show, or a streaming ad on a Netflix, or on a like Hulu or something, or would be interesting if you're watching Red Zone and all of a sudden a streaming ad comes up for the PBA. And I know that costs money, right? And I know it's not like something that it's a lot of money. It costs money, but I feel like that it would be something that could put bowling in front of people maybe that wouldn't normally get put in front of. Lou Gaudio saying Ethan Fiore has to date Livy. Oh my God. Ratings skyrocket.
If he was dating Livy Dunn. David Paulson says, bring back Biff. Bring back Biff. Bowling is fun. I remember that. Oh, jeez.
But yeah, like
listen, I hear you, Rob. I agree wholeheartedly. You made me think about with that comment. You made me think about, and we had him on our show. You made me think about the guy who wrote the article on Simo for Rolling Stone, Zach Harris.
Right.
And he bowls, and he's a cool guy. He's a skateboarder. He's in touch with pop culture. Musically, he listens to a lot of things that are very cutting edge with the young people. I follow him on social media. This is how I know this, since he's been on our show and he wrote the article. I feel like that's the kind of people we need, right? We need more people like him taking an interest in the sport, and taking it up as a regular thing to do. We need more people like like Mookie Betts, right? Who people look at as cool, as an athlete, as successful as, and we need people like that standing up and saying, yeah, I love bowling. Bowling's a great sport. It's something I do in my free time.
Yeah. It's cool when I see Mookie on a podcast and they bring up bowling, and it's not a bowling like show. It's some sports show, right? They're having Mookie as an interview, and then they all of a sudden they ask him a question. I've seen a few clips where it's like, hey, we saw a video of you bowling a 300 at a PBA tournament, and then Mookie will always talk good about bowling and how he grew up bowling and how he bowled with his, parents in league. And yeah, it does make it cool. And I feel like the PBA needs to, or Bolero, I should say, because Bolero is the one that's fronting the money. And I know Juan's in the chat, and I know Juan owns a bowling center around where my brother lives, that marketing and generating emotions are key factors. Changing most of the ones in charge of the main organizations is also key. Most are absolutely terrible at running a sport as an industry. I feel like the problem is, and I had this chat a little bit on Facebook this week, is that Bolero considers the PBA a marketing tool, right? And they've been on record saying that. That's not me making speculations or just saying that. And it would be hard for Bolero to throw marketing money at a marketing tool, right? Like you need to market the PBA. But if Bolero considers it a marketing tool, then what kind of marketing money are you going to throw at a marketing tool? It's just not going to happen. Bolero kind of limits, I would imagine, the money that gets spent on the PBA in a sense, and they kind of just are dealing with what they got, and they can't ask for more money to do that. So anyway.
Yeah, the Spatula in the chat says we need someone like Cam Crow to make a couple shows and market him. I agree, Spatula, and the documentary that somebody mentioned earlier, they were going to make Cam a strong part of it because of his personality and his appeal to that younger, cooler crowd. But see, that's the problem. That's the problem with the PBA's product, is like, we have these young bowlers who we want to get on the shows and give them time to introduce them to the people out there, but they gotta bowl well enough to do it, and they gotta bowl well enough, consistently enough to do it, so that people see it again and again and again. It's like it's not easy. It's not easy. I just talked about it for a good portion of the show. These young guys, like they struggle to break through. Rob said it takes time. He might be right. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough in that manner. But
all right, Mike, let's get the rest of the year.
Let's give the people what they've been waiting all year for, Rob.
First of the year.
I want to bring up one more comment from my guy Jim. This is our daughters play soccer together, and he comes in and checks out our podcast. He says, as crazy as it sounds, you need these famous YouTubers with millions of followers to make bowling sound cool to the younger generation. Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to throw out there, Jim, that we have a couple people in the bowling community who have huge YouTube followings. I mean, not Mr. Beast size YouTube followings or something, but there is that element in the bowling world too. But yeah, obviously, like anybody promoting it.
I'll tell you who we need. We need I
show speed.
I show speed, or is it
right?
I need speed? Yeah, you need someone like that to be a bowler or to go bowling
You're trying to get me started, Lou. Don't, Lou. You're trying to get me in trouble in 2026. You better stop, Lou.
All right, Mike. Worst of the year. I think you've already touched on worst of the year. So you want to go ahead with your worst of the year?
I will. I already teased it. My worst of the year this year, I've given great consideration. There were a lot of great candidates. Okay, I mean every week we have great candidates for worst of the week. So it's a very hard choice, and the winner should feel honored, quite frankly, because you really had to shit things up pretty well to win worst of the year. I think last year worst of the year was the guy who got caught cheating on his wife with the college player, right? So, I mean, that's just an example of like how bad you got to screw things up to
pain, misery, depression. So we have
to win this, right? So My worst of the year this year is going to Lev Exter from Bolero. Okay, my worst of the year goes to Lev Exter because he botched the Fox deal.
Botched it.
Okay,
He
he
didn't
botched the Fox deal, yo. Okay, I'll be honest. He came on Twitter and made a comment to me about, oh well, wait until you see what's in store. Lev, I've seen what's in store. It ain't that great, bro. It ain't so great that you should be walking around looking at losing the Fox deal as a win. Okay. Uh, as I said earlier in the episode, I'm concerned. I'm optimistically cautious, but I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the position the PBA is in. I'm concerned about the future of professional bowling, and the exposure of professional bowling. I feel like we've been put the professional bowling has been put in a position where this is it. This is the last shot. If this doesn't work out, bowling is going to be an internet only sport, and that is not going to go well for bowling. Okay, it's been a while now since the Fox deal news went down, and I've had an opportunity to hear from a lot of different people in the bowling community, a lot of different people in the bowling community who know what they're talking about too. Okay. And here's the common refrain. Lev Exter booted the deal. Okay. Fox wanted the PBA back. Fox liked the relationship that they had with the PBA. What they didn't like was Lev Exter from Bolero coming in and trying to strong arm them into giving the PBA way more than what the PBA is worth. Okay. Bad job, Lev. I'm willing to see where it goes. I hear you, but this is not a positive. And to me, it's one of the worst things to come out of 2025 for bowling in general. So that's why I'm giving Lev Exter from Bolero worst of the year.
And if you happen to run into Lev, anybody who's listening in the streets or in Bolero, you tell him.
If you run into him in the streets,
you tell him congrats on his worst of the year, and you make sure you congratulate him and shake his hand.
You tell him the streets are talking, and they're saying Big Mike gave you worst of the year, son.
Okay, so my worst of the year, after going through a lot of videos, and I should probably start saving every worst of the week we do and just keeping it on a spreadsheet so I don't have to go through all of our worst of the years. To me, there's really only one winner in my eyes that should have won worst of the year and deserves to win worst of the year. Worst of the year goes to Darren Tang. And Darren Tang, we had one of our actually most viewed videos on one of our shows where we had Jesse Curell on an impromptu interview when he was in the chat. And the story that he talked about with the pineapple and the safe word that would pretty much shut him up. And that whole debauchery train wreck of a situation where people were literally like up in arms for like weeks about that whole pineapple situation with Darren Tang and his fighting with his video editor Jesse, and the whole situation was like completely so far out of left field, Mike, that it definitely threw us for a loop, because like we didn't even know how to respond to it or what to cover even. All we know is that it definitely made us laugh in a sense, right? And it definitely showed a little bit behind the scenes of like some of these YouTube content creators that are out there bowling, and some of the things that they do on a weekly basis, and the work they do, and the views and the money they're making. And I put a little bit of perspective on it because we didn't know a lot of that information before that whole story broke. So I think the pineapple itself, that whole situation, definitely he deserves.
It was two people airing their dirty laundry in public,
which
right?
Seems to be, yeah, you're right.
I think we all love it. We all love to watch people air their dirty laundry in public. But yeah, it's not good for those people. It's never a good look for those people. Always going to be bad.
It wasn't a good look for Darren. The way he aired it out from the get go, and that was like my first. I can't wait, Kevin. That was one of, but that was one of my first like responses to that story, Mike. Like if me and you ever had some huge falling out where we were fighting and all kinds of stuff, like it would never get to that point where we would be blasting it out in public. You know what I mean? Like that you should never like that should have never came to it, but it did, and we were front row seats for it. And unfortunately for us, our fan base and our people that listen to the show on a consistent basis are the best. And we hear about things that happen, and we hear about normally things that happen way before a lot of people do. And yeah, we rode with it, and we went with it, and we happened to have a really great interview impromptu when Jesse came on. So yeah, that's my worst of the year, Mike.
Yeah, Kevin in the chat says our safe word here at Sweep the Rack is Napolis. Oh man, the king of the Patch Pirates is lucky because he made the list for worst of the year. I'm not gonna lie.
I had a runner-up too.
If Lev Exter had not pooped all over himself with this Fox deal mess, the king of the Patch Pirates probably would have got worst of the year. But maybe next year.
I do have an honorable mention, though, for worst of the year that I need to shout out, and I need to do it. $2 Phil Brilo for reporting the video on Facebook because he got all up in arms that I posted it. And it wasn't even like it was I think the video was making like $2 or something like that. And he literally reported after he told me that it was okay. So if you see him commentating, you could congratulate him too that he won. He was runner-up for worst of the year. Please tell him, Sweep the Rack, congrats on your runner-up nomination for worst of the year.
All right, Rob, let's wrap it up.
Let's do it. He's really B. Bradshaw's really trying to get on Mike. We're already almost hour 30. Where does the Junior Gold Facebook group rank on worst of the year? It could probably be top 3 every year.
The group wouldn't be worst of the year. That group just provides a lot of content for worst of the week. I hear you, but those people don't get so out of line that they would win worst of the year.
No, worst of the year. You need to really.
You got to be. You got to be completely out of line, bro.
Shut up completely.
You got to be 100% out of pocket to win worst of the year. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that's why the king of the Patch Pirates almost won worst of the year because he did a podcast and said my name. He said our name. He said my name. He acted like he didn't know my name. Oh, what's the guy's name? Oh, what's his name? Oh, Big Mike. Oh, listen. You got to be completely out of pocket to win worst of the year.
I don't mind Lewis. I get along with him. So,
no doubt. Final thoughts, John. We actually talked about my final thought already. My final thought tonight was just going to be that I'll always remember 2025 as the year that Bill got inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I had the honor of introducing him. I'll never forget that. Obviously, very special to me to be given that honor, and for our guy to make it to that level is just awesome. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it. Like, we came up together, and you practice together, you bowl together, you have success and failures together, and to then follow his career and be a part of all the ups and downs of his career as well, and see him get to that point that we all everybody who's in this would love to get to that point. It's just awesome, and it's something that I'll always remember this year for sure.
Yeah, my final thought is this year I want to try to do more interviews than we have been doing. I'd like to bring back some guests we haven't had on in a while, some new guests, and there's an interview out in case anybody doesn't know or is listening on audio that didn't know this or not following us. We brought on Jamie McWilliams from the Tat, and we released that video this past week, and it was a really good interview. It just kind of showcases his tournament, how it came to be, kind of the special nuances of it, and how it continues to grow. And yeah, it definitely, we need more of tournament directors to run big tournaments like that across the board. I mean, if we could bring back the mega bucks, I would be thrilled as a bowler to maybe start going and doing that again. If imagine having a high roller and a tat and another mega buck tournament all in the same week in Vegas. I mean, dreamers can dream, but anyway, so yeah, want to bring back some interviews, some people that we feel like we haven't had on, or maybe that are now like we want to have on. So yeah, I'll keep bringing the content on social media. Hopefully people are still enjoying the AI videos. I try to post them whenever I come up with some crazy idea, when I'm just kind of, my mind is racing or I'm bored at work, whatever. So yeah, that's about it. Hope everybody had a good new year. And yeah, we look forward to the bowling season to start. It's going to be here quick, Mike.
No doubt. No doubt. We got football playoffs, and then we're going to roll right into the PBA, boy.
Football playoffs. What is that like? Mike, what is that like?
We got football playoffs, and then
what is having your team like in the football playoffs?
It's gonna be a great January and February. We're gonna put a lot of money in our pockets. We're gonna line our pockets with gambling money throughout all of January and February. I can feel it already. I can feel it. I have a feeling we're gonna do really, really well.
I was 29 or 28 years old the last time my team made the playoffs for the NFL.
Yeah, but come on. You, like a lot of people out there, whether your team makes it or not, you enjoy the NFL playoffs.
I do, but it's so much better when your team is playing.
Oh, no question. No doubt. But whether your team's playing or not, you're going to be sitting down and watching those games.
Thanks, Ken. At least somebody enjoys it. I always get some comments about AI. This is AI trash, and all people, they hate it. And it's more of the idea behind the videos than it is the actual people that get so nitpicky. Oh, the numbers are wrong, or the lane number is different than it's like, dude, just try to laugh. It's more of the actual theme of the video than it is actual details of the AI video. The wing ball bowling ball AI was awesome. I mean, you can't forget about the new transformer from Storm, the new wing technology.
Rob, we got to get into that next week. The whole game changed, Rob.
Game changer.
The whole game changed. The game's completely different now. They came out with this ball. The game's completely. It's not even the same game anymore.
It's just, you could drill it 4 different ways, and it does 4 different. It's like, dude, how many times have we went through this with a bowling ball?
Same thing with the staff changes.
Oh,
right. All the staff.
See my meme with the guy holding up the shirt?
We'll talk about that next week. Are we not clear that it doesn't make a difference anymore?
I saw the guy hold up the shirt. The same. You ever seen that meme I wrote? It's just like, dude, come on, man. Okay. All right, Mike.
Next week. We appreciate everybody joining us. As always, we appreciate all you in the chat.
Follow us.
Follow us. Subscribe. Rob. Very important to Rob that you all do this. We hit 10,000 followers on Facebook this week. Rob is. You guys made Rob's 2025 by pushing us over the 10,000.
I was so excited.
Subscribe, check us out, email us, sweeptherack@gmail.com. We love getting the emails. J-Dubs.
Legend.
J Dubs, son. Happy New Year, son.
That's the world. The man, dude. The semester we had at Saginaw Valley, I'll never forget, bro.
Well,
I'll never forget.
Before that, he went to Bryant, I think. If I'm right, he went to Bryant, and we bowled conference against each other for a couple years. So I'm familiar with J Dubs.
Dude, the semester I had with that guy, there was more stories with J Dubs at one semester at Saginaw Valley than I might have had the whole 4 years that I bowled.
No doubt. But if you're looking for some Sweep the Rack merch, check out InsideBowling.com. Go to content creators. Go to Sweep the Rack. Okay, you can pick up some merch.
Look, right? I'm wearing one right now with the hoodie. Look at this thing. This thing's sick.
No doubt. We appreciate everybody's support on that throughout the year. And listen, we'll be back next week. And 2025 is wrapped. We'll be back next week, and we will be moving forward into the new PBA Tour season. So we'll see everybody next week. We'll have more to talk about. Rob, take it easy. Have a good one. We'll catch you later.
Peace, guys.
You are now listening to Sweep the Rack podcast featuring Brooklyn Rob and Big Mike.